AEW talent are unhappy with Tony Khan booking. Plus, New Japan Pro Wrestling have revealed their new title, and is a WWE team getting a main roster call-up? We'll talk about it. It's all in the wrestling news right now. AEW is the vision of one man, one Tony Khan. And for better or for worse, that's what it's been since the beginning. One person has been backstage at AEW and say that there's a little bit of not quite the full love that you'd hope.
Right.
For this one vision. We're talking Conan.
We are talking Conan on Keeping It 100. He talked about, the idea of talent being annoyed with Tony Khan's booking. He said, I love talking to Tony because he likes all the same things I do. He's got a really good sense of humor. I try not to talk too much to him about his business, and I don't want him to think that I'm trying to angle for a job. But I can tell you this, brother. I was backstage in AEW a year ago, and there were a lot of WWE guys coming in, a lot of new people coming in, and it was the first time the originals were being shoved to the side, which is something that has been noticed as well by the fans. Because you can imagine how people like Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela and all these other guys that were there at the beginning, and you don't really see that much of them anymore. Well, I mean, especially not Joey Janela, because
no, you see absolutely nothing of Joey Janela.
A feeling when all these other people are coming in, but that was going to happen. When you get bigger fish, you're going to use them. He asked me.
He says here he asked me, so he basically alludes to a conversation that he had with somebody there, but doesn't say who.
He asked me, he asked me, is this what WCW was like? I go, this is exactly how WCW started to get. And he was like, oh, bleep. So that's not Tony then. That's a talent.
That's a talent there.
Because I was not saying who it was.
No, he said, he then goes on to say that the last time I was there, so obviously he talked about a year ago, he said, the last time I was there, he said, bro, you have no idea how many people came up to me and they were P155ED about the booking. They weren't happy with how they were being used, and they were very, very vocal about it.
Now, that was a year ago, according to Conan.
Well, the first story was a year ago, and then he's gone here. The last time I was there, I presume a time after a year ago.
Maybe, yeah.
Why he's bringing that up again? Because you think about how much AEW has changed since a year ago. They've got certainly extra programming with Dark and Dark Elevation and Rampage. I know Dark was there quite early on, but other ones weren't. You've seen a heavy influx of new faces to that roster, and now even with lots of shows, there is a lot of people. And this is a common thing that gets levied at AEW, is that you've got so many people and not enough time to properly showcase a lot of them.
Sorry, it's Ashton. I just saw Ashton walk past with the Rules Boss hat on from Triple Jump. But
that's a new bit that we're doing.
It made it look about 10 feet tall. I was terrified.
This is the new bit. This is Rules Boss. Tony Khan, can you book with 5 people? But Rules Boss, Triple Jump.
You make a very good point. I don't know what. I think part of me is. I'm quite conflicted about this because part of me thinks it's unavoidable at WCPW, where wrestlers would often say that we had a particularly good locker room environment. People all liked each other. Even there, people still got annoyed about the booking from time to time. I think that's an unavoidable part of the ego-driven world of pro wrestling. But on the other hand, I think, is it unavoidable to this extent? Could Tony have done? Has he handled it particularly carelessly?
I think Tony's just kind of booking the stuff that he likes, but then I think every booker does that for better or for worse. Conversation I had with Aidan upstairs, the Cultaholic tribal editor-in-chief. He said that you've got all these guys on the roster, and this was a very real comment from Aidan. I'm curious as to whether this is reflected amongst others. You have a very busy roster of people who don't get screen time, or maybe get like half-hearted, half-witted bits of screen time, but yet so much energy is currently being devoted to the Trust Busters.
I know.
Like when you've got all these other people that you do stuff with. And he also made a point to go, like, they bring in so many random new names for Rampage, for example, where they'll have like Bryan Danielson fight somebody.
Mance Warner for John
making
Moxley,
their debut for them. They're Moxley and Mance Warner. And that's no disrespect to Mance Warner.
No, at all.
It's no disrespect to any of the guys they get in for these one-shot deals. But when you've got a roster that is already so full, why not put the emphasis and the energy into them
I feel
all the time?
I feel particularly sorry for people like Conan mentioned, like Sonny Kiss and like Private Party. I've noticed really because they were such an.
Well, Sonny Kiss is fine now because Sonny Kiss is in the Trustbusters thing, which Tony really likes.
But like Private Party are the ones I've noticed because they were really integral to the start of Dynamite. Like the first few weeks of Dynamite, they were beating the Young Bucks. They were doing this, they were doing that. Everyone was like, the Private Party are the next big thing, and now they're just another tag team on the roster, and it's sad to see.
I genuinely think that if Tony Khan stripped his roster down to maybe 30.
I know, but he can't do that now.
I know he can't now, but if he could, I think Tony Khan and co could write some really compelling wrestling with the characters they've got.
Yeah.
We do a classic Raw review podcast on the podcast feed. By the way, if you ever wanted a very different type of news, sometimes people don't like all the fun and the lulls that happen in a news video and they just want the news. The news podcast on a daily basis does that for you, delivers it in 10-minute bursts. It's a good shout. But also we do classic review podcasts as well. And we've been watching Monday Night Raw from 1996 week by week, and the roster is so thin at that point, but the TV shows are really quite good. Not perfect, but because they're having to utilize what they've got during a difficult time, then they're really making the most of them. And I feel like that AEW would so benefit from having a smaller, more truncated roster that they could just really hone in on and make some really interesting TV with.
Well, that's what Dynamite was for me at the start. I think, and I don't know what the solution is now though.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I get Ring of Honor started as soon as you can, so you can move some of those names over there, and then I think keep them separated. Like I don't. Once Ring of Honor gets its motor running, I don't want like Ring of Honor World Title matches on a Dynamite, and that's no disrespect to Ring, but there's too much other stuff. Have that over there, focus that over there, and give people the choice to go and watch that if they want to, and they will. But I think definitely having that, moving some of those guys over to Ring of Honor will certainly help.
Yes.
Ease some of that. We talked about Jeff Jarrett's departure from WWE the other day, being replaced by Diggity Dog for the return of Brian James. Brian Alvarez reckons this could be part of bigger movements.
Yes, speaking on Wrestling Observer Radio, he said Bruce Pritchard brought Jarrett in, convinced Vince McMahon to hire him for Senior Vice President of Live Events, and Vince is no longer in charge, and Road Dogg is in Triple H's team, so he hired him. Jarrett's department, which was house shows, have increased greatly, so it's like, man, your department went way up, and you got the boot. But that's just the nature of the beast. I think a lot of people who are not Paul Levesque people are probably feeling a bit nervous, and it's going to be a changing of the guard. It's just how it's going to be. It was always going to be that way.
I think it's to be expected that whenever anybody comes in that's new, they're going to put their own footprint on.
They're going to have their new cabinet.
Guys, aren't they?
Have a new sort of thing, yeah.
It's funny you say cabinet.
It's like Parliament,
it is like a Parliament thing where you are going to bring in people that you want to work around, and that's kind of what Triple H is doing. It's to be expected that happens.
Although it sounds like Jarrett was doing a very good job.
I think he was doing a great job. Yeah. Like, I mean, he's the son of a great promoter, and Jeff Jarrett launched a promotion that has weathered multiple storms. Yes. Like, you know. Impact Wrestling is a promotion that seems to be made of flex tape.
Have you
just
heard,
keeps going.
Have you heard Ross's theory?
Oh, go on.
Ross thinks that Jarrett and Conrad could be setting up a new promotion.
That might make sense.
Or he said, just do like various other themed shows like Ric Flair's last match was. Just carry that on, sort of. Not Ric Flair's next last match and Ric Flair's next last match.
So that's my idea. I think they just own it and go Ric Flair's last match 2, Ric Flair's last match 3, and every year they just wheel him out. I mean, there is something in that because didn't they get a trademark for, is it Southern Championship Wrestling?
Okay.
They got the trademark for a wrestling promotion recently, which would suggest to me that maybe they are thinking of running themselves a classic wrestling promotion.
It would be interesting, so.
That's interesting. The Undertaker is in Cardiff next week, a show that has been so popular that they're doing 2. So it was announced yesterday that because of the unprecedented demand for the Undertaker's One Dead Man show in Cardiff, they're actually doing a matinee version on the Friday, on the day of it, I believe. So you got 2 chances on that Friday to go and watch the Undertaker do his stand-up routine. What's the deal with people stealing your urn? Am I right?
I just flew in and my arms yes, tickets go on sale today.
Don't you hate it when bikers dress as you and pretend to be you? Am I right?
Just here.
1, 2. Hello. It's just working.
Tickets do go on sale. They'll already be on now. They went on sale at 9:30 today.
Do you not hate it when you're trying to embalm
There's a new IW
the WWF champion? People keep interrupting you. Am I right? Hello? There is a new championship belt. You're right, Jack. Tell us about it.
Don't you? No. It's over in Japan because New Japan Pro Wrestling and Stardom are doing this show in November, which is called, it's something X over. It's like...
NJPW X Stardom?
Yeah, but it's called something X over, like crossover, but there's a word in front of it. I just wrote a news story on it the other day. I can't believe I've forgotten the name of the show. It's to build up to this new crossover show. They've already announced some mixed tag matches for it and that sort of thing. It looks like it's going to be very intriguing. But also on this show, it's called Historic X Over, I believe that's what it's called.
There you go.
So that's on 20th of November, and they're building up towards this historic joint show between New Japan, which is an all-men's promotion, and Stardom, which is an all-women's promotion. Mixed tag matches have been announced, and also a women's championship has been announced as well, the finals of which take place at this show in November, which is going to be for the inaugural IWGP Women's Championship. Now that's important because the IWGP is the governing body of the kayfabe governing body of New Japan. But if they're giving this belt to Stardom, that could raise the platform of that promotion closer to New Japan's level. Tom.
Now, there's the belt behind us. They gave us a little sneaky, cheeky preview of what it's going to look like. They have been keen to say, in stuff that I read, that they don't want this to be considered a belt that is above the Stardom
the
league
Wonder
title.
of Stardom, yeah.
This
World of
is
Stardom Championship.
It's another belt that complements and kind of allows that crossover with New Japan Pro Wrestling. The tournament's getting underway to crown the champ at Royal Quest 2 on October the 2nd.
In the UK?
In the UK.
Yeah.
So a piece of history in the UK. If you're going along to that show for night 2, we're going to kick off the tournament on that weekend. It's very exciting.
I'm going to guess who's going to win. I'm going to say it'll be... I have no idea who's going to win that. I like Giulia. She's very good, but I think she's in the mix for the World of Stardom Championship, actually. But I think she'd be a good one, though. She's got big crossover appeal. I'll go for Giulia. I'm throwing my hat in the ring.
And I'll go for Bron Breakker.
Yeah.
Let's go back to NXT to end on. Now, it was reported yesterday by Dave Meltzer that they were going to be completely separating Legado del Fantasma, with Santos leaving NXT, being banished from NXT. It looked like he was heading up to SmackDown without the lads, without Del Toro, without Joaquin Wild, and without Elektra Lopez. That's not the case, is it, Jack?
Do stipulations mean nothing anymore, Tom?
He technically didn't go in.
Do they mean nothing? Because Santos Escobar recently lost to Tony D'Angelo, with the stipulation being that if that happened, Santos would leave NXT, which he's doing, and Tony would retain the services of Legado del Fantasma. The stips mean nothing. I'm fuming.
You are, aren't you? So Tony chewed out the Legado lads that he had under his watch, and as they were walking into the parking lot, here comes Santo going, "Hey, you didn't think I'd forget about you? Familia and all that. We stick together. Hop in. We're going to SmackDown."
I mean...
He didn't say SmackDown.
But possibly, though, SmackDown.
SmackDown or Barmouth.
Yes. Apart from that slight sort of annoyance about the stipulation that I
I like how angry you are about
really annoys me.
In an industry that thrives on having multiple retirement matches, we can't hang our hat on stips.
If Cody Rhodes can keep his word and never challenge for the AEW World Championship, then I think Legado del Fantasma can pledge a lifetime of service to Tony D'Angelo. That's fine. No, but in all seriousness... You've
got to be up for them coming to SmackDown.
In all seriousness, I am. I really like Santos Escobar. I was a fan of him. I think I first became aware of him in Lucha Underground. I didn't know much about his Mexican career, but in Lucha Underground, he was like my guy. I was like, King Cuerno, he's the guy. So when he came to NXT, I was very excited. He's had some good matches, but hopefully, if he does indeed go to SmackDown or Raw, he can have some more... There's more of a spotlight on him. And the rest of Legado del Fantasma as well. I'm very excited.
Yeah, this will be really exciting. I think they can all add something to the SmackDown show. I'm up for seeing it. Maybe we'll see it on Friday. Maybe see it Friday.
Ooh.
We'll have more wrestling news throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.